Juan, how are you folks? So good to see you today. This is Tuesday, and if it's Tuesday, then you are in the right place. Second look, and we thank you. You know who I am, and my lovely co-host for many, many years, Miss Trina Phoenix, and we just speak favor over all of you, those in the chat room. Thank you. And of course, we see nothing missing, nothing broken. That is our reality. So again, thank you, moderators, everybody in there. So many people, Mary and Deborah and Paul, Susie and Rick, a lot of them. Miss Trina, how are you, my dear? Good to see you.
Oh, so good to be with you. Thank you, Wayne, for being such a wonderful Magic School bus driver,
Yeah,
taking us through the consciousness of our own consciousness. So thank you.
Well,
Thank you,
yeah, some find it, a little unsettling. It definitely brings out the cognitive dissonance in some folks, but it's exciting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like we sign up for reality to be challenging and exciting. And boy, we definitely picked a timeline where it's game on.
Yeah, it is. It's weird, and it's going to continue. I mean, I got so as I wrote this, I said, whatever is about to happen, it's going to be big and sudden.
Yes.
Just
I can feel it. I've been feeling it for days, and it's a hard emotion to ride. I feel it, and I always feel before. So I'm getting hit with something pretty big. So get ready, guys. This one might be really big because boy, my body is saying, get ready.
Wrap in, get the 5-point. Ballot brand. How are you?
Harness. It's gonna get bumpy.
Hey, no doubt about it. It's and it's odd because it gets always back. Yesterday, what a deep, profound show. I mean, it was one of those shows that, for myself, I would have to say it's in the top 5 because it's this. And Lynn and I were talking about this, that if you can say, for instance, we can say that the United States has advanced technology, right? Let's say in the way of stealth aircraft. Well, you and I can look at each other and say, yeah, sure. We don't believe it, number one, because we've never seen it. We've been told that it exists, but you and I have never actually touched it. And so therefore we see it as, non-existent. However, if a person who actually saw one, worked on it, was part of the
Uncle Nelson, my Uncle Nelson, he actually was one of the developers of the stealth.
So yeah, and so for him, and of course it's just the metaphor is that it shows that, for them it's real.
Yeah.
And Lynn and I were talking, I said, for instance, where people have illness, it's amazing. Some people believe more in the illness than they do in the hope of a cure.
Yeah, absolutely.
The placebo effect. Go ahead, sweetie.
And the negative one is called the nocebo effect. So you can literally kill yourself with your thoughts as well as you can heal yourself with your thoughts. So placebo is positive and nocebo is taking on it. Somebody tells you a diagnosis and you take it in and you run it.
Yeah, I mean, and that is the whole point. Hello, Jenny. We can see you. We can't see you, but we can certainly hear you.
I'm trying. I'm trying. I might have to. I'm so sorry. I might have to go out and come out in again. There's something really going on with the internet in the UK. It's not great at all.
Oh, really?
Wow.
Yeah. Yeah.
I've been seeing a lot of stuff here too. I've been seeing so many of the people I watch, like they're having no sound through their videos.
Yeah, it's crazy. I mean, I've never experienced it to quite the extent that I'm experiencing it right now. And like you say, Trina, hearing a lot of other people also. But of course, there's interesting things happened in the UK. They've created a real monopoly, Shell and another company, EE, in the UK, and it's happened behind the scenes from everybody knowing, really. But it's been a big buyout, you know, so there's a real monopoly now here, and standards have dropped dramatically since that sale happened. So I reckon it's got some things to do with that too. Sneaky so-and-sos.
Yep.
Well, Jenny, it's fine because, you know, we'd love to see you, but as long as you're here and we can hear you, then yeah. And, you know, it's again, whatever they've got planned, and it's planned, it's already set into motion. It's going to be big and it's going to be sudden, and it's designed to shock us. I mean, the title of our show today is They Play to Win. Do you?
Yeah.
Yeah, know your purpose kind of thing, you know, because they do. They all have a very direct purpose, and a lot of it is indoctrinated in them from birth in a very militaristic way. And they have us floundering in the Seven of Cups tarot card, you know, just like not knowing quite what to choose, not knowing quite what to put our energy into. And so all of that energy gets divided up, and ultimately other people end up choosing those cups too, to what you're emotionally divided by and driven to. And so while we're all floundering in nonsense, they're very purpose driven. Know thy purpose is a very powerful thing to say to yourself each day, and those purposes might vary, but find a purpose and pour your energy into it. You know, I've been very guilty of that in the last 2 years, dividing my energy far too much on the behest and need of other people's emotional needs. And that's not a wise thing, and it's not a great thing karmically for me to give out, even though it feels good at the time for both parties. Again, it's that giving of energy with wisdom, isn't it? And where you put it, because you can be easily diluted when you're easily divided.
Yeah. And then that seems to be, it's interesting, Jenny, because that is the word. There is this extreme effort to keep people divided.
Because when you're whole, when you're at that phi state, I mean, there's no stopping you. There's no, when you've got that determination and direction and drive, there's no stopping you. So they've got to have it that way, you know, and which is why the same religions, the different religions speak of the same stories verbatim often, but they're just given different titles, you know, to use the same script on everybody. That's fundamental and fanatical, but divided up also, you know, to have those fundamentalists and fanaticists fighting amongst each other when they belong to the same thing.
I mean, look at it, it's interesting. The church itself, you have a divisive pope who is going against canonical law. I mean, this is what founded the church. I mean, you know, an institution. I would say probably the church is the longest lived modern day institution known to man.
Well,
and yeah, folks, I'm going to let y'all go. I got to see why the puppy dog is going nuts. So hold on, y'all carry on, and I will be right back.
Hey, Trina.
It's us, girl. You know, it's so funny you're talking about. Kid. It's me and you. It's so funny you're talking about the divided part, you know, how everything's about divide. And it's so funny. It's the division is what keeps us from the Trinity, the threefold body of divinity. Yeah. So it's like when we can understand that, to embrace both parts of this, which is so beautiful, because then you connect to your invisible twin, which is your other six, because we're in a six, which is man, but we have our other six, which is our twin. And when we can merge those together, then we become the Trinity. So
you're the 12, and then you're the 3, aren't you?
Yes. 3. Yes. And that's our bipolar. That's what that's the symbol of the broken heart. It's literally the division of us from phi. So that's what that is. It's like we're divided. Yeah. So once we can figure this out and start manipulating the frequencies in the own being, we'll be able to access the triple fire. Once you get there, you're good. Because you have an awareness.
You're eternal.
Yeah, you're whole. So that's when you break division. the breaking of the division is going to be within us first, and then it's going to manifest on the world. But I'm starting to see that. I really am.
I mean,
Yeah, I mean, the positive side to this, and this is what I like, is that there is an alternative. But the unfortunate thing, those who are controlling the narrative don't want anything positive.
No, they're not supposed to. That's their
Yeah.
role. They were literally created to create darkness. That's their purpose. So,
yeah.
but you know, remember I kept telling you I keep seeing the creator as a body. And remember when he says, I will spew you out of my mouth? Well, that's when you're getting out of the higher heavens into new realms of higher heaven creation. But if you go the other route, service to self in darkness, you're going out the bunghole. Yeah. And it's a black hole. And this is what I see.
Which is why they have so much attention, isn't it, on like the more peculiar sides of sexual life, don't they? It's raw. It's not that beautiful, sensual. It's the painful, wrathful thing.
Yes, and it creates two different beings. So it literally creates different energies, and that's why, like, when you're down there, you're in the hell realms, and they're showing me that this was a black hole, like a butthole, was what I was seeing. And I was like, this can't be right. But I'm starting to hear information that I might be accurate. And I just heard a channeling from Truth Be Told about Lucifer. Lucifer just claimed to be the black hole of creation, which he would be the butthole. It gets rid of all the waste and it purifies it. That's the job. So that would be the archangel of the black hole that clears out all the negativity after the cycle is complete. And then when that cycle is complete, Lucifer gets to return back to the higher realms because it's served its purpose. It's done its job.
If you remember, all of the emoji poo toys came out at the same time they were doing this Magick really full on, and they were really directed towards the children. You walk into shops now and there are literal cushions, pillows, for children that are literally the poo emoji, from it's the excretion.
Wow.
Yeah.
You're my waste. Yeah, you're the waste. You're not what I need anymore.
Waste. Yeah, that toxic waste. What gives you comfort, lay your head on there kind of thing.
That's not that. Yeah, that's so bad. That is so, but that's what awareness does, because when we can see their code, we can expose it. And when you expose it, it has no more power. No more power. As soon as people can see what it really is, then they know. They're like, they're no longer drawn to it. They're appalled by it. And that's all it takes. It's that simple. So awareness is our strongest tool right now. It's unfortunate that we have to scream it from the rafters and argue with our families and go through all this shit. But I think it's the most important part of the game right now, is just opening people's eyes up to what the potentials are of this reality. So hopefully they can make good choices, because I think we're getting ready to get hammered.
I got something through so strong today, and I was obviously thinking of you and Wayne, and I always do, but ready for the show, I've always got you very strongly, and it was this process. So if Wayne's dipped out, do you want to join me, Trina, in something just to guide people through? Because I felt like it's just so the right time for this. And so you join my energy and I'll join yours, but if people want to do it just real quickly, and you obviously extend this out, but if you close your eyes, take a real deep breath in, nice and slow. And I'm going to really quickly talk through the process of what I saw today. And I was in this warm, inviting room, and there were sheets of organza material, all different colors, aligned to the energy points in the body, one after the other. And each time I draw you forward with my voice, and this vision came forward real strong. As you walk through, the organza just drapes around you, and breezes off you. It's so light, this organza, and you feel the frequencies and all of the things that align with that color and frequency, whether it's politics, whether it's family, whether it's loved ones, whether it's work. You just say, and let go, and feel that organza lift over your feet, over your body, over your head, and it goes in the wind. And this hallway went on for ages, and everybody then can open their eyes and take another deep breath. But it was me, you, Wayne, and everybody here just feeling each other's energies as we walked in a line, quite literally, walking through these different organza sheets and saying at the same time, and let go, and let go. And it was really the observation room that I was feeling. When I came out of it, I was like, oh, we've just been in this is the observer sort of AA, you know, where you sort of replenish your energy by being together and recognizing that there's real difficulty sometimes to just be in the observer and being able to observe, discuss, and let go. You know, because the thing they want you to do the most is to cling on, isn't it, to the different organza sheets. And they want you to be so fundamental about them that you forget everything else. And it was just such a beautiful 10 minutes that I was in.
You know, I've been getting that same message. It's like through our separation, we have forgotten our wholeness. And the only way to remember the wholeness is to remember what you are, letting go. You got to let go of all of it, all of your identity, all of your trauma, all of it, and just know this is not what you are. This is an expression of what you've created, but it's not the truth of what you are. And when you can realize what you are, you know that this is all just a game, and that this is a very important learning tool that you're experiencing. But when you can let go of this and reconnect to what's real, which has nothing to do with this, that's when you really, really start to, I always was told, you know, because the whole God word, I'm like, everybody uses God, but what would be a good terminology to understand God? And I heard grand observer's design. It's about observation. Can you see it and be outside of it and observe it so you can heal it? Because all healing happens through observation. It's so amazing.
Absolutely. And it's such a powerful source of knowledge when you can put knowledge out there and receive knowledge, knowing that you're next to people or with people, in communion with people, that you're not going to burden them with it, because they're as good as you at letting go and observing, discussing. But it's a lie to say to people that grieving or fighting or having something to do about anything good, to change anything, has to take time. It can be as quick a process, especially with practice, as walking through those organza sheets, as they touch your feet, to reach in your head, to flying off in the wind behind you. You can get as good as that, to just receive the information and let go of the things that would make you cling on. In flow.
Absolutely. We're all stuck. We're all stuck. And we have to learn. It's just like the creation breathes. It's the same thing. It's about taking it in and then letting it out. Taking it in and letting it out, and just processing it, just like breath. And that's what I keep seeing. It's like people are stuck. And it's like, but that's only because we're attached to our persona, our personal reality. We're trapped in the identity of ourselves, which is not even
an illusion completely of what we've been told we are, or what we've been told we should care about, or what we've been told we should honor, or what we've been told we should disgrace. That's worse still, that this place has been in such a Piscean age, Christian age, of illusion, lies and illusion, and the darkest thing is the things that are coming to you in light right now, you know, in the name of love and light, in the name of Jesus, It's like the darkness that's surreptitiously under those spells and scripts are just, it's like, ew, you've even got the audacity to call it light. But of course, like you said before, Trina, that is their light. That is their purpose. That is what they find uplifting. And so again, even that, it is what it is.
But to inject here is that, well, we are stuck in this thought paradigm, God, light, darkness, but the very God that everyone has been taught, everyone has been told is God, is simply because it was told to them. Now, if we take things literally from the word, then we know that whatever this God is that people refer to, Elohim, Jehovah, Jesus, Yahweh, whatever it is that its beginnings was darkness. Now, follow me on this. If darkness is the absolute true state of consciousness, light is the enemy. Light is not our friend. Light does not bring enlightenment. It does not bring ascension. What it does, it keeps you trapped because you're ever fighting the darkness.
Yeah. And then you get afraid of what created you. You get afraid of the darkness.
But this God said that it came from darkness. It said it created light, which means literally there was no light. Now, we don't know, they don't tell us because it says it's beyond our capacity of thinking that this creator, whatever this thing is, that how long did it exist in darkness? Why was it dark? There's my point.
In my head, when the darkness, I kept hearing, be still and know that I am. So there was a darkness that was just a consciousness awareness. But I think the integration of the light was thought, because when you have a thought, it lights up the brain. So what if let there be light, God said, let there be light. I wonder if that was the introduction of thought.
But then thought would be momentary. It would have no existence within itself. It's ever fleeting, because if you have a thought, is it really your thought? We can see the synaptic pathways of our brain, but we don't know where it comes from.
And you could then apply, are we asking the right question?
Bingo. How would you know the right question to be?
Written, is it dark? It was darkness, but it's written, those are written distorted text by man of every age. Does it mean they were just dark to the consciousness before this consciousness took hold of this sort of thought pattern of the monotheistic God? Is it even written a lot of the way a lot of people are reading it quite so literally, that there was this darkness at the date that the biblical dates would state, around thereabout? Or is it just that we're going to leave them in the dark from what existed before this, and we're going to rewrite history? So there was darkness before this, and we've created this thought consciousness with these certain different scripts, so it could be that was completely man-made too. Could be.
Biocentrism, I like the guy who wrote, he said, light has no color, nor any visual characteristics whatsoever. Light, and it goes like this, man created light in order to see that which he was unable to comprehend. And the light blinded his reasoning, and he cannot comprehend darkness.
Yeah.
What it's saying to me is that was our original state.
Can I read you about light?
Well, sure.
I love this definition. Light, the highest form of fire, being manifested, the might of sound, everything from the light and made of the light. Only forms, nature, and the extent of illumination are as diverse as the world. Matter consists of tiny particles of luminous electrons that form atoms, and therefore any combination of therefore atoms is light-bearing too. Consequently, if one abandons the unusual limitations of sight, one can imagine that all existing things shine with a varying intensity and the different colors. Everything has the potential of the light. from the sun to a planet, from an atom to a man. The essence of the evolution of all forms consists of unlocking this potential. The light is in each individual man, and everyone absorbs it, for without it, even the physical body could not exist. Even though the dark ones deny the light, they owe their very existence to its gleams. Since even the most darkened one must have at least a tiny spark of light within them to be visible, otherwise they would be nothing at all. They would cease to exist. As the size of an object can be determined by its shadow, even so the grandeur of light enveloping the earth may be discerned through its opposite, gloom. The very nature of evil's unique forms, expressions, points of power to the opposite pole. The light, it may seem that more and more evil appears in the world every day as it increases, but in actuality it is the other way around. Hence, one may notice that lies, deceptions, and other negative things and qualities in human beings and situations are detected today much faster than before. This means that the light that illuminates and reveals the true essence of all these to help people's eyes see better is constantly increasing.
I only have one thing on that. Regardless of what your position, that you're saying light illuminates and what have you, but light exists in darkness. Otherwise, it's not darkness appreciating light, it's light appreciating darkness. Now, we talk about evil, but who's defining evil? You know, what is evil? Evil
Contrast.
is an opposite of a
yeah, contrast. That's what
so,
I think.
So why is it bad?
If it doesn't feel good, people consider it evil. Most definitions, if it doesn't feel good, they consider it to be evil. If you're ignorant, you are potentially doing evil things because you don't know better. So that's a lack of
I work out with weights every morning. It hurts, but so is that evil? But you know what? It gives me, definition. Muscle mass, strength.
It's about perspective. If you're being forced by an evil slave master to go lift rocks all day, and you're going to see that as evil.
But let's take the evil out. Let's just say a master.
Right.
Yeah, because the Bible is founded on slavery.
Correct.
It's founded on the sex trade. It's founded upon everything that we have been said is the opposite is what it was founded on. But yet we say it's good.
And all of the leadership and all of the rulership is because they think they hold superior DNA.
I mean, how can you serve a God that condones slavery? How do you serve a God that condones rape? These are the things I ask myself these days, is that this is insanity.
Like I said, when we get to a place where we're not worshiping any of it and understanding that we're part of all of it, all of that goes away. And there's no more battle with it because it's just an is. It's part of this creation. It's part of duality, contrast. This is where we come to learn. You would never know what good or evil were if you did not have contrast. So the darkness had to become for us to have contrast to the light. So the light that's in
maybe darkness had to become light in order for us to appreciate the darkness.
See, I don't remember that. Not in my soul. My soul remembers coming from light. I remember it. So there's
but we've discussed that light is an artificial construct.
It is. That's why I told you this whole realm is false light.
Well, then you would be an artificial construct.
I am. Yes.
Okay. Jenny, I can see it on your face. You wasn't in the race. So what?
Yeah, come on. Round two. So it's I just think you look at animals though, and you look at children who literally have lived in the jungle all of their lives. They're neither seeing the spider that could kill them as evil or good. They know it can taste good over a fire, and they takes the risks, to catch that spider and fry it. If they happen to get caught, the parents aren't calling the spider that bites that child evil. they're working harder to make the other children more aware of how to catch these spiders on a stick and fry them over fire, but they're not calling them evil. Yet if we were to look in our construct in the Western world, the way we look at things, right now we would be calling that spider evil for doing its act, and you know, the child good. We're very selective and we've gotten very monotheistic in our thought patterns, even just as what humans are and how superior humans are in this space that we share with so many different beings. So there is no parameter that you can really use accurately at all to say what is good and what is evil. So therefore, anything coming in a book that is then derived in the same laws that I have to live under, that is then derived in the same school system I have to be involved with, that is then derived in the same court system that I have to be involved with, I don't want to know about it, because I know they're doing the exact same thing with the Bible as they do with their statistics today. They create science that fits a narrative and fits a script for what we would see as darkness. That's their purpose. I really feel it's our purpose to get out of this superiority complex, accept that we are a part of all of this, and try and not be so fixed on any of the parameters or labels, because right now those parameters and labels get us into trouble. They get us into
parameters are limits, and they usually are walls. You know, it's like you do a firewall, you know. Joyce said, I like what she said. She said, does the soul exist in light or darkness? Is there a possibility that there is a place where neither exists?
Yes.
Because, you know, when we talk about light and darkness, we're stuck in duality.
Yes.
So it would imply that there has to be a third option here. What if there is an existence that has neither?
I believe there is.
Maybe that's the trap we're trying to get the hell out of. You know, it's this thing, light, darkness, good, bad. I mean, you know, we're just trying to get back to neutrality.
You know, Wayne, it was so when I had the gnosis after going through, you know, many years of these questions in my mind. And then when I read the Nag Hammadi scriptures, it's talking about Yaldabaoth, the feathered serpent, and all this stuff. And that's when I started to realize that this was all just a puppet show being projected in false light, and that all these gods were just projections of thought. And all of this was just basically a very brilliant bioorganic illusion.
I mean, you said that the false light, and it just triggered in my mind, because then that would imply a true light. Yeah, then what's true light?
It's so I can't put it into words. I can't. I try.
It's a tough one, I know.
I can't do it. I try so hard. I can't find words.
It's like that game they used to put you in the cylinder with all the dollars, you know, and people are trying to grab it.
But you know, there's worlds within worlds, and if you we can't do the dolphin world. We can't see in that sonography type way. We can't see in ultrasound. They have different parameters to us. Seals have different parameters to us as to how quickly they can regenerate eyesight, even after a big eye injury. They have different worlds and different parameters and limits, but they're not fixated in ideology. They are existing in the space that they're in, feeling the tepid or the hot or the cold water as they feel it, observing and being able to not cling on to, but being able to observe and explore the sea without having to cling on to previous ideologies that have said, no, you're only allowed to see this. If you dare to see a dark corner somewhere, that's evil, it's demonic. They're just exploring and observing. We've gotten into this rat cave that we've been put in our consciousness, where we're literally just observing now, in a lot of monopolized corporate ways, the things that others want us to observe for a reason that doesn't even make sense, because it's not even organically attached really to the place that we're existing in. And then you have to go through that organza again. With all that being said, let go.
Well, you know, so I want to inject this to both you and Trina. And so of everything we've discussed, and lovely comments going on in the chat room, just some really good discussion going on. My teachers teach me that what I hear is that the base for all of this, beliefs, philosophy, I'm going to do a show on isms and ologies, you know, because that's what drives the humanity. Is it maybe the fact that we're really just afraid of dying that we invent all of this?
I think that's the first program you have to receive in your soul construct to be part of Earth, because if you didn't have a fear of death, you wouldn't live. You wouldn't.
Interesting.
You wouldn't know how to breathe. You wouldn't know how to stop running into a fire. You would not know how to survive if you did not have a fear of death. And we don't.
And that's what doctors will tell you, why the human body produces pain, because pain is our friend. It teaches us.
Alarm system. Yeah. So wake up, something's wrong.
So does pain carry over into the spiritual realm as well? Do we learn spiritually by pain?
Yes, it depends on what level you go. If you're anywhere under level 7, yes, you're going to still experience duality.
It's like divorce. Divorce, you know, is so painful. It's not the physical act of the divorce. It's the separation of the two souls.
Yeah.
That's some heavy stuff.
Yeah. And you know,
all right, Jenny.
when you marry here, you're trying to unify with your lost other self. See, we're projecting what we miss that we know that's true onto other human beings, because it's the closest thing that we can get back to that truth, which is our twin, your etheric double, your twin.
I love this stuff. I mean, to me, this to me is what I would call heaven.
Yeah, well,
I want to go where the philosophers are at, because I have a sense that the other side, it may be not this side, but I have a sense that there's a lot of carryover.
Of course there is. They can't not be. It's not. Oh my goodness, I'm so glad you said that, because you cannot, unless you're going to be able to get real good at letting go of what you choose to let go of in this space, it's all going with you. All of it. And you can't apply it maybe in that existence in the same way this existence, so therefore it stays with you in a much more difficult way, because you can't apply the same things in this physical existence to maybe this one, to those same, they don't sort of, it's like trying to play Xbox and PlayStation, you know, you're never gonna, you've got the same games, but you can't join up and do double player, you know, it becomes so much more complicated for yourself the more baggage that you carry over. Completely, it's not a golden gate, it's not a car wash, you know, that stays you down as you go through the gates, you know.
Well, Paul, the mastered wizard that he was in the New Testament, he says that, and it's interesting because he says that we pass through a fire, and that which is hay, wood, and stubble are those things that we consider dross, those emotions, those characteristics that we hate ourselves about. And then when you step through this fire, what's ever left is you.
Yeah.
Now that to me, that's occultism. That's paganism.
I think, well, it is. I was going to say, it feels really good to firewalk. You let go of a lot of shit when you firewalk. I love it.
Yeah.
But it's
even cremation, you know, isn't that passing through the fire?
Yeah.
Yes, it is. Burn me up, baby. Let me.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't want anybody being able to use my body. Nobody's getting any more blood. Nobody needs my skin. It's getting burnt up on the sea, preferably, you know, without the disclosed location. Let me float away into a billion pieces. But I don't. What was I going to say? The paganism.
It's about passing through the fire.
Yeah, it's about that letting go, isn't it? You you cleanse yourself, and it's not always so easy. I think it's more a metaphorical state that he's describing there of, you know, to do the work, walk through the fire regularly.
I think it's literal. I think it's literal. When you get to the 11th gate, you will go through fire. That's what I see. You go through the columns, the pillars, you're going to go through the fire, because nothing of this can go through those gates. You have to let it all go. Like you said, it's letting it go. Let it go.
Yeah.
And then you will enter ether. And then you just become elemental again in structure, but you have the consciousness of your experiences. But this is it. Everybody's putting these things into this is pagan. It's like, no, this is older than pagan.
Yeah.
This is elemental. It's elemental, my dear. It's elemental.
Yeah. Pagan was a title that was given by the same Christian cycle that we're in now, the same as witches. Pagans actually don't say I'm pagan. They say I'm of this tribe. I'm tribe of Roberts, you know, in UK. That's where the same titles again, labels, because then everybody's mindset, that paganism, it's like, oh, you know, she's wearing a pink hair and a hat. You know,
We love it.
You know? And there's then with
it's hot, baby. That's I just got to tell you, you wear it well, darling.
Love it.
You know, my hair's growing in so well. I thought, but I have some fun quick. So I promised myself some fun.
I like it. I like it.
My hair back. It's just short at the minute, but yeah, just the labels. You know, I don't like them. They're very provocative, very limiting.
Well, it's the epitome of racism.
And exactly.
That's what labels is. It is racism.
Yeah. Look what's happening now with all of these labels, all of these different labels, all of these different choices. It seems like there's a sweetie shop of variety of choice. But with all of that choice, there is only more limitation, because people feel they can't just be uncomfortable in their bodies. They have to label it something now that will last them this lifetime in more ways than one. They have to label the way that they are, like they've got anxiety. So they're going to have anxiety all through their life now.
This generation Z, they got more labels. I was reading yesterday, and I forget which journal it was. I was reading things that I never heard of. Yeah. I don't even know what they mean.
It's like this nocebo effect.
Thank
you're
you.
Gonna label it, you're dividing it. The label.
Yes.
So that's why I said I'm going above all these labels and finding a way to put a new word to it. So I'm not stuck in their constructs of belief, because I have my own. So like now when I see pagan, I see elemental, because I know these are the foundational earth teachings of how we operate in this world with our elemental foundations. That's first, water, earth, air, fire, water, ether. We are elemental. So once you start to understand that, then you understand, I think atomic light is a reflective false light. So everything in atom is false light, in my opinion. So like I said, but when you get to the higher realms, you're into the closer to the true light. But like I said, I think you've got a long ways to go in this sphere of creation to get past the 7 gates of the 7 planetary bodies that exist within the earth structure of our bodies, as well as the earth's body. So we are of the earth in this experience. But this is temporary. This is a game. It's a doll. It's a rag. So when you're done with it, throw it down on the ground, which meaning your human physical identification, your idea of yourself, your idea of Earth's energy field, your idea of yourself, flush it down the toilet, stomp on your body like it's a piece of rag. I'm done with you. And then you will go way higher than if you are going to identify with the body. Because that's
how bikers get their jackets nice, isn't it? They put it on the ground, mush it in the mud. They don't want a new jacket, do they? They crumple it all up. I'm
done. I get a new one. I can make a new one. If I want
all
to.
scarred up and looking all tragic. You know, it's like it's the saga, isn't it? The sagas that we're playing out individually. The problem is when we and we've got to look at the words. Like if you look at Christine, prestige means illusion. Prestige doesn't actually mean grand, and they've got prestige, they've got qualifications, they're prestigious. That actually means they're an illusion. They're nothing. The paper that they've got with the letters behind their name is actually, made up of nothing, unless they've actually invested themselves. If they've just gone along with a lot of stuff. Hollywood is full of prestigious actors. They're illusions. That means illusion. It doesn't. Prestige sort of conjures up in people's minds now with the English language of like, oh yes, I'd like to be prestigious. Would I hell like to be prestigious? I want to be whatever I want to be as I want to be it. I do not want to be somebody else's illusion. And so the words are so important as well when we're looking at they haven't turned the world upside down. Nature's wonderful here. Nature's never changed. It tells me that every day. But what they have done is through language, through thought constructs, they've flipped us upside down, in that we're using words that we feel where we're taught and conditioned that are good words, when actually we're putting reverse spells on ourselves, just like playing the records backwards. We're putting reverse spells on, like, I want to be prestigious. All right, I want to be an illusion then. Nothing's going to be real for me,
Jenny, that's interesting because, they're in the news world, it's called the 4 a.m. call. And no one knows how this works, but when you have the news desk, there is a set message that they're going to go, and then they're going to spin it accordingly. It's interesting because abracadabra, I speak what I create what I speak. And I'm seeing how this magic is working in a 24/7 news cycle, where the magic spell is consistently spoken, but no one's countering or breaking the spell. We need a witches network is what we need, where every cable company has to carry it, where it just teaches the occult and how to reverse these spoken spells. Go ahead, Jenny. I'm sorry.
I'm telling you, that t-shirt I made where the guy's saying, I'm mad as hell,
Yeah. That network news.
Design. And I was like, we need to do, never mind the wars, never mind the protests. I've said this from the start of public speaking. We need to peacefully invite ourselves into the news stations, take over them for a week, play high frequency theta type tones, all 24/7, affirmations going out on each channel 24/7, just like the chalk.
I just come up with the next, I'm going to write a business plan. I am going to write to some of my investors. I have just thought of a new channel.
Telling people you are wonderful, you are creative, you can do this. Find your purpose. What is your purpose today? Today looks like a sunny day of potentials being reached with a slight breeze of inspiration. Imagine weather reports like that. I mean, people would go out and they would create the sunshine in their lives because they would feel so good off hearing a weather report, energy reports. We could
what I'm seeing? I'm seeing the answer again is to awaken the masses, to bring forth awareness. So when I see you just said the 4 a.m. news, I literally saw all four corners assigned at this moment to direct this day, north, south, east, west. We are online with the message of the collective, and they broadcast it. But if you broadcast the truth of what they're spewing, because it's not true. So when you broadcast the truth against their false, then that awareness, I think it literally destroys their magic. It can't.
I need to put this out as a legal thing. I am now trademarking through the process, but I am copywriting now the occult channel, which means anyone tries to backstab me on this, I now have it on the public record, and you're going to have to prove that you had it before I did. Now, I'm going to be talking to some others in there those that may be interested in potentially becoming part of this, folks, I'm telling you, ladies, it's not out there. There is no occult channel.
No, there's no alternative news.
There is not.
Everywhere.
I'm telling you, folks, if you want to get involved with this,
everywhere.
I'm talking
ready. Sign me
people
up,
that, well,
Wayne.
this is going to be called, it's going to take some money. But the fact
Let me
is,
know. Send me the scripts. Let me know what
well,
we
I'm going to
need.
write an executive summary. This is something that, wow, this is what I like. This is why I like doing this. These are moments of brilliance. Yes.
Yeah, because we need to put out the news. We need to go north, south, east, west, and broadcast the truth.
I'm telling you, folks, this is a big deal.
Can I do the weather report, like energy?
You can. Oh, listen, there's an opportunity here. We'll need programming. So those of you who are on YouTube that are looking for potential new distribution, let's talk. This is going to be the occult channel. It's everything occult.
Wonderful. And I do think
fucking out.
It's a space. Yeah, far fucking out.
No, I mean, this is, folks, this is how money is made. This is how wealth is generated.
Yes, it is.
But I've dreamt of this. You've just made it. You always make my dreams.
Jen, I've been seeing this too. Somehow we were going to be reporting and talking about world events and going the opposite way with the truth of what's really going on. And there's a lot of unpeople.
Well, intellectually, I have to include both of you two ladies as founders on this. I mean, I may have come up with the idea, but the juice was flowing already. That's all I got to say.
Thank you. I'm just happy to participate.
That's all I just pointed out there. So,
I love it. Because
there's opportunities here for each and every person. I mean, in ways I can't talk out here because, I'm not an investment advisor, nor do we advise anyone on what they're doing. But you've just seen the beginning of something big.
Yeah.
I'm just going to go down a rabbit hole on this because, in where I live, get this, ladies, there are no less than 30 religious Christian channels. 30 on your cable. I mean, 30 freaking channels of the same stuff, not one counter programming. And this is where I'm going to get it. And I'm going to get a congressperson involved in this because this will be where the cable companies have to carry it.
Yep.
Yeah, baby.
Yeah, they have to carry it. We'll have live tarot readings. We'll be teaching tarot. Yeah. There's a number of things. And I'm telling you, I'm putting it out right now. I need someone who's involved in network. You have this background, particularly in programming. I mean, because this could be a really big deal.
I have a friend. I'll get him. I'll talk to him about this and see if he's interested.
Yeah. Okay.
Imagine the likes of. This is just, for instance, close to home, but Abby writes stories. She's a fantastic author, and she writes stories about, I'll not tell you the full story because she's actually going to make this into a book of spiritual. She does a lot of lucid dreaming, and she was a bog on one of these dreams, and this bog was very dark and very dingy. Then all of a sudden she started to feel, and because she was the bog, she could feel the life of the dragonfly touching the surface of the bog. Then she could feel the lily pad. And imagine if we had reliable spaces where you could quickly zoom onto through your Amazon, through your wherever, to say, play the occult children's channel, where people are very genuinely just giving children insightful stories. Imagine the difference. Parents, occult parents, who are in knowledge of the hidden, have nowhere else to go but themselves, really. Whereas there's so many Christian channels that cater for Christian children, with the stories, with the scripts all of the time, Sunday school and whatnot. There's nothing like, they've totally monopolized.
And someone said a cult was a negative word. That's just the point.
No,
we want people to know that there is, and I'll tell you, I've been in the business. I was in the business for 20 plus years. This is hot. This is hot because this is the thing that when people see the very word, the occult channel, it's going to draw both criticism and it's going to draw curiosity.
And that's what we want.
That's what you want. You want the journals writing about this.
Right.
You want Christians preaching about this, how bad this is. And this is what it's going to do, is draw media attention into it. I'm telling you, folks, this is a big freaking deal.
The occult means exposing and looking at that which is hidden.
Yes.
So this is like, we are exposing that which is hidden through occult.
I'm telling you, I've been fucking waiting for this thing for 10 years. This is beautiful. Excuse the language, but it is pure enthusiasm.
This is like the back seat to a big corporate meeting where ideas get thrown about. I love
exactly what it is. This is a big deal. Someone says, so what are you after, Wayne? I'm after, for the thing, Bonnie, is stop hiding knowledge. Stop having to go in small channels and being gaslighted by media platforms like this and others, that where, you get into the real seriousness of it. A channel that has, and this is what I'm not going to lay out what I've already figured out here, but this is the type of alternative programming. It's all we're talking about here, is the opportunity.
People, because if we could break the boundaries of my God's better than your God, and if we could start to unify people with broader concepts of thought and unity, not to take away from their belief systems, but to expand upon them, to where we can all step together in a place of unity through knowing there's bigger stories out there than the ones we've been told. There might be a greater truth that you have yet to unfold. And this is why you look at the occult.
I'm looking at programming from all over the world. You could have people that talk about folklore. You can have people talk about their different gods. I mean, this is one of those things.
Jesus just said about, I think he did a stand-up, but Plastic Jesus has just said, imagine all of these wonderful comedians who've actually really dipped into the esoteric side of things.
Yeah.
They've been cancelled. They've been taken away their spaces online. Imagine having comedians up there spreading truth with their offensive selves, like breaking open those walnuts of people's heads through comedy, and getting it through there, because they haven't got a space anymore. So many people that did have a small space before have lost their space over the last 3 years. Big time. And again, I think for a place of unity, I just feel a place where such vast information can be shared and people can come to it knowing that the people running it aren't going to be offended by the fact they disagree or agree, just that they have got more knowledge to go away and either unify that with themselves or not. Don't even care about unifying with the next person, because that will naturally happen anyway. Just come and hear the knowledge, come and hear the truth.
Gilbert says it's the real hour of power.
Right.
Someone pointed out that this is how the 700 Club, this is how it turned out. It was the fact that Pat Robinson was in the beginning of this with the media, the cable, and there was no other type of national programming. This is something that has been needed for so long, and we can get it out mainstream. I mean, thank you. In
particular, but things like, say, the logo, and this is just, for instance, I don't know, it's coming through, so I'm going to say it, but things like the black and white check. Of course, people on the occult channel might use a black and white check, not because it's flaming Masonic, but because maybe Masons might have claimed it, because it damns works about opening up the subconscious. If you see black and white checkboards, it opens up the subconscious and both lobes of the brain to be receptive to the information that will then be delivered thereafter by the two pillars of knowledge. So it's things like that kind of channel, is almost prepared to be offensive at first, because everybody's prepared to be triggered by these things, but it's exactly what needs to happen.
I can't wait to this show to end, because I want to start writing this. This is a big deal, folks. And Robert V., you're right. I will launch this. This will be launched. This is an idea that is more than what I'm surprised about, to be candid. And I'm in the business. I still read the journals and the rags. No one has come up with this. No one.
No.
I mean, I got to tell you, I
You're
feel
onto
good. This is how exactly I felt when I designed the first mobile payment application.
Wayne, I've been praying for 2 weeks because this is all I keep hearing. You guys are doing it. You've already won. Now it's about awakening the sleeping masses. Any way you can, anyhow, any way. And this is exactly what is manifesting from this, because I've been praying for 2 weeks. Bring us the truth. Bring the truth. Bring it in hard and heavy. Bring it in, because awakening happens through shock most often. So I knew it had to be a shock and awe value thing. This is right up where my consciousness was.
So I'm going to let everybody know this. Back in the 80s, I was the one that came up with the first idea of the Sci-Fi Channel. I failed to move on it.
Wow.
And an individual who heard me present took the idea, and it later became the Sci-Fi Channel that everyone knows that was born. So
I'll just said that word, Wayne, because that meditation I had on before coming today to the show, the word was, it was like, it's all just sci-fi anyway. And I was thinking of a different word for science and spirituality combined, because they actually, when science is integrated, it's the same thing. And I laughed and I was like, oh, it already exists, it's sci-fi. And it's science because, and then the phi is life, you know, it's that phi is life. It's the 6, it's the spiral round, you know. So it's, and you create the wholeness with 2 phi, which was what me and Trina was saying. So I was actually giggling to myself, preparing for this show, about the word sci-fi, like, oh, it already exists. And you just said, you made that exist. So how powerful a synchronicity and all the other synchronicities, it's wild.
So the question is, was this predestined, or was this, just happenstance by the creative flow? It's interesting.
I think it was already destined.
Yeah.
I think it was. I
don't think it matters. I think it's inspiring both ways, whether we've just been inspired by sparks of absolute supreme energies and divinations and abilities right now and here, and that's as magical, or whether it is predestined on a path that was already written for us, that's just as magical. I'm just glad it's happened.
Remember a few weeks ago, Wayne, I told you I find it's very odd because I've got producers staying at my home.
I remember that. Yeah.
I told you something's coming. I feel it. I've known it. I felt it. Like I said, no, this has been in the works. I can feel it. But we finally received the inspiration. It's finally consciousness now rather than our subconscious. But I have a feeling this has been there for a little bit.
Yeah, I got to get legal involved, and but this is going to happen. I mean, I believe this, have taught this, and I live by it. I believe that we're all given ideas that can make us more wealthy than what any of us could imagine. It's just that most people don't know how to recognize the opportunity. And this is going to be a lot of work, but this is a type of work that is fun for me.
That you love. You love. Just passion for it. Passion.
You see, this is what I love, because I'm an idea person. I've come up with great ideas for people that I've just given away, or it's gone by the wayside because I get on doing something else. And this is why a group of people are great, because you have your strong elements, and then you have your dipping in elements and your divine inspiration times together. But when you've got different people with different capabilities and different passions,
get this. I see us actually having a studio setting with a stage, and Jenny will fly you over, but I see us doing live air programming over broadcast television cable. We don't have to worry about this format or any other format with anything of their restrictions and et cetera, et cetera. I see that happening. Live programming that has this show. This is going to be good.
Yeah.
For those who are listening on this, send me an email, and ladies, we'll be talking more on this because this is going to happen. This is going to
I
happen.
think it is. I've had a feeling, and when the producers came to my house out of the blue, I was like, okay, this is really a sign. I'm not quite sure what this means yet, but I knew. I felt something. Remember, I told you, I said, Wayne, this is very odd. And I said that to you, and you're the only person I spoke it to because it was meant for you to hear. I'm like, there's something going on right now.
Well, I think this is a beautiful thing. I don't know if I'm going to keep the video up, to be honest with you. We'll leave it up for a little bit, but this is amazing.
Very awesome. It's very awesome. And it's
all
so
right.
what's needed. It's so what's needed.
All right, folks. Well, we went a little bit over, but wow, I'll tell you, this is authentic. This. If you want evidence of truth, this is that evidence. I mean, this is a beginning of something, and it will happen. I'm just telling you, folks, it will happen. And because you know why? Because the timing's right.
Yes.
If you tried to do this 5 years ago, it would not have worked.
Never. You're
But
right.
the timing is right now.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. And I think that's why, like, all this TV stuff came into my world right now. It's never been like that before.
Yeah.
I mean, other than when we did it, never. But anyways, it's been years and years. And it just all of a sudden came in fast and furious a few weeks ago. And I was like, oh,
someone is listening. Wow. I just saw that. Someone is, they're not here live. They're going to be watching this.
Yeah.
And wow. You're seeing this. You got the connection. You email me. You'll know who you are.
Yeah.
I mean, that just came absolutely in a flash. I saw this.
Yeah.
You're taking notes right now. You're taking feverishly notes. I'm seeing you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you for your service.
Yeah. Okay. All right, everybody. Much love to you. We'll see you tomorrow. I'm going to be deeply writing. I'm going to tell my wife that the Midnight Oil is going to be, this is a big freaking deal.
It is.
Okay. All right. Much love, everyone. We'll see you.